The New York Knicks will be trading for a star this summer over the offseason, according to Woj, and we have to talk about this. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video. But real quick, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any videos that we come out with. 15% of our viewers are subscribed. It would be awesome to get that number up, but let's just talk basketball. Here's the deal. Woj has just said that the Knicks will be trading for a star this summer, an all-star or all-NBA level talent, and also will be looking to make a move by the deadline. Now, this comes straight from Woj. As New York Basketball, our favorite Twitter account over on Knicks Digest, put it out. Woj said that the Knicks are looking at scoring to help off the bench. They made their big trade with OG Anunoby, and it has paid off. They want to keep themselves in position to do another big one for an all-star, all-NBA level player that very likely would be this offseason. That player is not available now, but certainly players like Bruce Brown in Toronto are now, and Alec Burks and Jordan Clarkson in Utah both also are available. The Knicks have the assets. They have an expiring contract in Evan Fournier. So they got the assets to do it. They could also just make the trade in the short term, get some bench help back going into the postseason without compromising themselves on going big game hunting this offseason, words from Woj. They have a lot of picks and they have assets they can use in trades. They can do something here at the deadline and not take themselves out of the bigger thing that they hope comes along for them. Probably more so in the offseason or maybe into next year. Now, here's the deal. I think the Knicks want to get this done. They want to get their star player, or not their star player is Jalen Brunson. Then they also have Julius Randle, both of whom deserve to be all-stars this season. But they want to solidify the roster and make themselves a true contender with one more all-NBA level talent. The big thing is here, there's no one available right now. As Woj just said, there's no guy at the deadline who's that level of player who's going to be available who makes sense for the New York Knicks. So they're going to have to wait a little bit. They're going to have to wait till this summer. The NBA has a lot of parity right now. The standings are very, very close on both sides, both in the East and in the West. We are looking at teams that are very close. There's a lot of teams with a chance to make a deep run in the playoffs. There will probably be one or two surprises like there was last year when the Miami Heat made it all the way to the NBA Finals before losing in 6 to the Denver Nuggets. There will probably be another surprise team that emerges from the dust. And that's what happens when you have the NBA with a high level of parity like it does right now. And on the other side of the spectrum, you're going to have guys who get fed up with losing time and time again and want to make or want to get traded. They want to move to a new team. They want to try something else. And the Knicks are in prime position to be that team who lands a star player. Now, what Jake Fisher said on his and Fred Katz's podcast is that it does seem like the Knicks' biggest shopping point is a backup point guard. And Fisher has heard Malcolm Brogdon get brought up the most. And Fred Katz said that he thinks they checked in on Dejounte Murray. And he doesn't know if there's been an offer. And it's kind of hard for him to figure that out. Now, here's the real deal with that, is that Dejounte Murray seems to have quite the price tag, and also if anything is an inclination, Dejounte Murray is going to end up going to the Los Angeles Lakers in some trade that sends D'Angelo Russell to some third team in a 3-team trade. Could it be the Knicks? Very possibly. I don't think it will be, but it could be. And we might talk about that a little bit more in the future. But really, the Knicks are looking for an all-NBA level talent. Now, that's not Dejounte Murray. Dejounte Murray is a one-time All-Star. He also is an All-Star replacement. So let's pump the brakes on that. The Knicks are looking higher. They're looking for a bigger swing, but not right now. They're looking for that over the summer. Now, Leon Rose's goal has always been to bring stars to New York ever since he got here. As you know, that is the job of a president of basketball operations. But it felt a little different with Rose. It felt like he was going to somehow pull it off. And he did it slowly. They didn't just say, okay, we're going to instantly just go for stars and try to sell them on, dude, it's New York. What if you turn the franchise around? What if you were that guy? They built slowly. Julius Randle had that breakout year. They signed Jalen Brunson 2 years later. Then they start succeeding. And they look like one of the best teams in the NBA. They look like they're going to be a staple in the playoffs. They look like they're one piece away from being real NBA Finals contenders. The problem is there's no one available, and there's not going to be anyone available until the playoffs shake out. Some team is going to disappoint. Some player is going to want out. It is impossible to tell who that is. I have a feeling that Leon Rose has his finger on the pulse and is looking at a few specific names that we have no idea about because Leon Rose is completely silent. Basically, a lot of the stuff that comes out about the Knicks either turns out to be wrong or just doesn't really, I don't want to say it doesn't really happen, but it only holds so much water. Like if it's a Fred Katz or an Ian Begley thing, it's a little different. If it's anyone else outside of Woj or Shams who would really just be announcing that a trade is about to happen or that a trade just did happen, there's not too many names that you can trust out there for the Knicks because it is hard to tap into what is going on with Leon Rose and the Knicks. He's very secretive. He always has been. He's always kind of kept it up to interpretation what the Knicks are going to do in specific moments. And because of that, I think the Knicks are in a weird spot because you have to go for a star at some point. Julius is 29, Brunson's 27. They're in their primes. They got a few years left in their prime, so it's not like we have to rush. But also, we've been sort of waiting on a star. This will be the second year of a fairly similar team. Obviously, with OG, the Knicks are different now. They're also better. But they're also in way better position for a star because OG's a way better fourth option than RJ Barrett is, just by play style. So the Knicks now are going to need to go out there and sort of find a way to land a star player with all these draft picks. They have Quentin Grimes' contract, but it feels like Grimes will probably get traded at the deadline to prevent themselves from giving up too many first-rounders. The Knicks want to use their first-round picks. That has always been the key to landing a trade. That is what Woj has said, so we're going to trust it. Now, what Fred Katz has said is that the Knicks are filling offers for Grimes, as we know. According to rival executives who have been in contact with them, they want facilitating help behind Jalen Brunson. Then we know it's Malcolm Brogdon. We know it could be Terry Rozier. We know the names that could potentially happen, and usually they're guys who have contracts going into next season, so the Knicks can look to flip them in the offseason to be the salary that matches a star player trade. The question kind of is who that guy is going to be. And I mean, we could speculate all we want. We could take a look at the conferences. It's more likely that the trade happens with a Western Conference team because usually when blockbuster trades happen, and I know the OG trade was huge, but it's not a full blockbuster, like a blockbuster star trade. When one of those things happen, like when KD got traded to the Suns, they're usually interconference trades. They're very rarely just conference, like the same conference. Like, look, I mean, as we're using the KD to Suns analogy, it was Brooklyn to Phoenix. Like, opposite sides of the country, different conferences. It worked out well. Now, there's a lot of teams in here. The Suns obviously being a little disappointing, and you could look at them and think, hey, maybe in some world, Devin Booker. But I don't think that would happen over this offseason. I don't think Devin Booker would request a trade just yet. Maybe he could think about it. And then if you look at teams like the Lakers, they don't really have anyone too desirable unless you want to try to sign LeBron for his 22nd NBA season this summer, if he opts out, that is. And then if you go into the bottom tier, most of these teams are rebuilding teams, or the Houston Rockets, who have just made a team that's perfect for the NBA play-in tournament. And then the Golden State Warriors, who look like they're falling apart. But we all know that the Knicks are not trading for Steph Curry. That's just not going to happen. Steph's never going to get traded off the Warriors. So it makes things tough. It makes you have to look at the playoffs. It makes you have to look at that top 10, even that top 6, and think who is going to disappoint in the playoffs, who is going to request a trade. Because say the Thunder lose. Let's say the standings stay exactly as they are, and the Suns and the Kings make the playoffs, so that's the top 8, and the Suns play the Thunder, and then the Suns beat them. Shea's not requesting a trade. That's not going to happen. He's too young. The Thunder are obviously getting better. It'll be their first playoff appearance. And then if you look at the Clippers, I mean, maybe, but it's like Kawhi just signed that extension. I don't think the Clippers are going to change anything up. Also, they've completely figured it out, so it kind of makes them not the best option. It's tough to see who the hell it would be, which makes you look at the Eastern Conference, and you think, okay, so obviously the Celtics are great. Jason Tatum's never getting traded. Jaylen Brown's contract is massive, so he's probably never getting traded. The Bucks have Dame and Giannis. They're going to try to make this work. I don't think they're going to give up on that after 1 or even 2 seasons. They're probably just going to ride it till the wheels fall off. Maybe the 76ers fail and Embiid wants a trade, and the Knicks go for Joel Embiid. That is something that I could realistically see. Maybe the Cavs fail. Maybe the playoffs stay the exact same, use the same analogy. The Knicks and the Cavs play as a 4 or 5 seed. We know what happens when Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell meet in the first round. Brunson wins. So, say the Knicks beat the Cavs. I guess there's a world where they can get Donovan Mitchell if he were to request out. The Heat don't really have anyone desirable outside of Butler, who's not going anywhere. The Pacers are too young. The Magic are too young. The Bulls have no one desirable. The Hawks the only desirable player on the roster is Trae Young, and he doesn't fit the Knicks. Also, Brunson's better than him, so what does it matter? And then if you look in the bottom half of the league, all of these teams are either rebuilding or the Brooklyn Nets, who are just who knows? No one I don't know. The Brooklyn Nets are kind of leaving me speechless because they're the most confusing team in the world to me. But whatever happens, we know that someone is going to be disgruntled. The last big star trade to happen is KD to the Phoenix Suns. Because of that, trades that are major, like major NBA trades usually happen every 12 to 18 months, so a year to a year and a half. There is a major shakeup in the NBA where a star, a true bona fide star player, switches teams. The NBA moves fast. Players don't always stay with their teams as long. This is not the NFL. This isn't baseball. People switch teams more often. And then if you look here at Quentin Grimes, he's drawn interest from teams like the Rockets and the Hawks and the Jazz and the Grizzlies. Also, the Mavericks might be interested. And I mean, yeah, you could try to trade for Tim Hardaway Jr. to get scoring off the bench. It doesn't give the facilitating that the Knicks need, so maybe that doesn't happen. Or maybe you just trade him, I don't know, to the Jazz for Jordan Clarkson, but it seems like the Clarkson price is too high. The Knicks are in a strange spot right now. What we know is that they're going to make some sort of move. I'm really hoping it's either Terry Rozier or Malcolm Brogdon. Comment down below who you want to see them trade for. And also comment down below who you think that star player might be over the offseason. I've pitched the idea of Brandon Ingram, though also, again, all-star, all-NBA level talent. He's made one all-star game in his career, and it was a few years ago. So it's like, I don't know if that's the magnitude that Leon's thinking, or if he's thinking fringe to not fringe and in the top 10 of NBA players. However, it's going to be interesting to see, and it really does feel like the Knicks are actually finally going to trade for a superstar player, which will be really exciting to see. So hopefully that works out. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any content, subscribe to Knicks Digest. We're making videos constantly. We are dropping like crazy, multiple videos a day, all 2024, giving you all Knicks news, rumors, stories. Me and Darielle are going to hop on over the All-Star break, just have some fun with it, talk some Carmelo Anthony, some other just fun Knicks topics that are timeless. Make sure you don't miss any of that. It'll be a great time. And also, if you hit subscribe, nothing in your life changes, but my life gets a little bit better, so do it for me. I'm trying to make Knicks content for you guys. Do it for me. Do me a favor. Have a great day, guys, and go Knicks.